Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and I am here to retrain your brain today. We are going to go from having a poverty mindset or any poverty thinking to a wealth mindset and wealth thinking. Now, here's the deal, you guys. Even people who make a lot of money still will slip into poverty mindset thoughts, low vibe money thoughts. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you are without any sort of limiting beliefs or poverty type language in your brain. It's just not as obvious to yourself or the outside world, which can make it more tricky, right? So there's a lot of people driving around. I live in LA, okay? They're driving around in the Porsches and the Ferraris, and they're living in a rented studio apartment in the valley. So, you know what I'm saying? That is a poverty mindset right there. At work, that's behind all that. Or there are people who might have the big home in Calabasas, have the cars, have the clothes, have the things, and they're in debt up to their ears, and they're just a couple payments away from having everything repossessed. Also poverty mindset, but from the outside, you might not see it. There's a lot of people on social media that look like they have it all going on, but behind the scenes, a lot of those people are a hot mess. I coach some of them, okay? So just want you guys to know what you always see doesn't necessarily equate to a wealth mindset. Just know we all have it. I slip into some of those thoughts sometimes. I just have the tools and the years of practice to catch it really quickly. So I'm going to share those with you today. Those of you who've been listening since the beginning, you know that I am a top money mindset and business coach. I'm very passionate about it. I lost almost $1 million by the time I was 30 years old, all due to low self-worth, and low self-worth equals low net worth. So I had a lot of these limiting beliefs. I had a lot of this poverty mindset going on, but I was one of those people on the outside that looked like I didn't. I advanced really well in my corporate career. I had 2 cars. I had a luxury condo. I was traveling all over the place. I had cute clothes, and I was a disaster in terms of my mindset, right? So again, I wanted to share that example of myself. Number one, you guys always know I keep it real, but don't make assumptions for yourself either. Like, well, I don't have an issue with my wealth consciousness or wealth mindset because, I do pretty good for myself. Well, you could be doing even better with some of the things I'm going to teach today. Those of you who are listening who are broke as a joke and are in debt, nothing I'm saying today is to shame you whatsoever. What I'm doing is to teach you how to get out of that. And a lot of it is how you are thinking. Truly, what you think is what you end up believing. What you believe, you actually manifest into reality. It sounds really simple. It can sound kind of like bullshit to some people. It would have probably sounded like bullshit to me if it was the first time I heard someone tell me that, but it's not. I'm here to tell you that it's not, because I can see what has changed in my life for the better when I changed my thinking and how I believe. How I believed and how I thought before is what led me to lose almost $1 million in 3 months from the second my bank account said those 7 figures. I was so terribly uncomfortable with that amount of money. I didn't feel I was worthy of it. I felt guilty for having it. I didn't really know what to do. And I was raised well off. So you can have a poverty mindset issues and a really bad money story and bad money hygiene and be raised wealthy. You can have amazing wealth consciousness and be raised poor. So those are just more stories, right? We can tell ourselves about ourselves and others. Oh, well, she didn't, Tiffany doesn't have to deal with, all this money noise and the fear of not having money and the poverty mindset because she was raised with money. Nope. I had probably the worst money mindset of anyone I knew. In fact, friends of mine who are raised middle class or even just really, really poor, they had way better money mindset than me. I mean, significantly better. And you could see it by how easily they achieved things in their life. Every single damn thing I wanted, I had to work my ass to the bone for. You know why? Because that's what I believed I had to do. I didn't really believe I was worthy of it. So I believed I had to sweat blood and tears in order to get it because I really wasn't worthy underneath it all. Now, I wasn't conscious of this thought process, of course. And so I would hustle and grind and things would come hard for me. Studying for tests would come hard for me. Getting those sales would come hard for me. Getting a promotion would come hard for me. Everything came hard for me. And then I had friends who some were raised really poor in trailer parks. Other friends raised middle class. And it's like, oh, yeah. No big deal. Like I work 4 hours a day and I'm making my sales numbers and, oh yeah, I just got a gift from, so-and-so for those, designer pair of jeans I always wanted. And, they just got stuff always was landing in their lap. And it was like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And because my mindset, my belief system, I was so tied to, I guess I'm just one of those people. These are my cards in life. I'm one of those people that just has to like grind, hustle, and work myself to the bone and sweat blood and tears to get it. And other people just, life is easy for them. And obviously that didn't make me feel good about myself, but I was so stuck in that belief system. There wasn't anyone to tell me otherwise, which is also why I'm so passionate about teaching this to all of you. I'm being for you what I wish I had. If I had a me saying it this bluntly and clearly to me, like someone who was really upfront and transparent telling me and I believed them, I would have been like, holy shit, no, I totally see what you're saying. I would have at least experimented with it. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do today. Just experiment and try it out. What's the worst that can happen? You can actually like not have to work so hard for your money. You can actually make money. You can get out of debt. You can go to the next level in your business and you've been stuck at one level for so long and you don't know why you're stuck there or how, and you're spinning your wheels. A lot of times, like 99% of the time from all the private coaching that I do, it is mindset. Guy can hand you strategy all day long, but you can't out-strategize a shit mindset. You just can't. So let me give you some examples of what a poverty mindset, like mind says, versus a wealth mindset. And I'm sure some of you or all of you are going to recognize yourselves in some of these. Like, oh God, I do say that a lot. Sometimes we just say things out of habit, even though like when we really think about it, we know it's not good to say it, but we still say it anyway. Yeah, that's still not good. We still have got to fix that. And it takes some discipline to retrain our brain. It's like a well-grooved, like path when you go hiking. It's just like a well-worn path. So we have to start a new path, and it does take discipline. And that's why a lot of people avoid mindset work. You guys know I joke and I say it's like stretching at the gym because it's not really comfortable, or using the foam roller. You know what I mean? It's like the foam roller gets more comfortable the more you do it, and there's such a relief and such payoff. Well, that's the same with this money mindset work. Yet people don't like having to create that new path because it does take focus, diligence, and consistency. But once you do it, it becomes a new mental habit, and the payoff is amazing. Like, that's when I've seen the biggest transformations in myself, in my life, in my bank account, and others that I coach through this, is when they shift from that poverty mindset, that low vibe money story, to a wealth mindset. So here's what a poverty mindset looks like. There's a lot of whys, like why me? A lot of question asking occurs in our brain. So one is, I can't, right? I can't do this. I can't do that. You might not be saying I can't around money, but you might be saying it about situations. I can't attend that free masterclass. I just don't have the time, right? Oh, I can't go to the gym. I'm way too busy with my kids. Oh, thanks for inviting me to that like networking event. I can't, I'm too tired. So there's a lot of I can'ts that show up in other areas that might not be about money, but they're about opportunities and ways for you to actually achieve what you want to achieve, the dreams you want to achieve that you're resisting, and you believe the excuses that are tied to them. So like when I'm on, goal assessment calls, when people are applying to work with me privately, or when I'm hiring people for my elite team, and I'm interviewing them, and it's like, I hear people say like, well, I can't afford that. All of you guys have heard that. Any of you who are coaches or whatever, you guys have all heard that. I can't afford it. It blows my mind. I don't hear it that much anymore because I have a system that weeds people out like that, but I still do hear it sometimes. And I find it so interesting. It's like, well, I imagine it's not like a no-brainer, like you just have piles of cash sitting there to pay me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hiring me. You're hiring me to help you. So that's one. Number two, what did you think this was free? I mean, this is a pretty clear application process, and you don't do that application unless you've listened to probably my podcast, watch me on Instagram stories, watch my lives, Facebook, whatever it is. So my level of experience and my proven success rate. So mama ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? So when you say you can't afford it, that is a mindset thing. So here's what a wealth mindset would say. I'm going to figure out how I can. Okay, thanks for inviting me to that networking event. You know what? I'm going to figure out how I can go. I have to move some things around. Or, instead of I can't go work out, I just don't have the time. How can I do it? I'm going to figure out how I can do this and rework it in my life. If it's that important to you, you figure it out. If I was standing here saying to you, if you jog a mile and a half, there's going to be $500 in cash waiting for you. And that's all you have to do is jog a mile and a half. You know how many damn people would jog a mile and a half? Even people who weighed like 600 pounds. Everybody. Isn't that amazing? But if I say, okay, you want to increase, your finances, your business, go after your dreams, and it's, X many $1,000s to get there. There's a lot of people who would come up with, I can't, versus, oh, no brainer. I'm going to figure out how to jog that mile and a half, even though I haven't, even walked around a block in years. I'll figure it out. You better believe it. There'd be people like being wheeled in shopping carts, red trucks, those electric scooters that they have at the theme parks in order to go that mile and a half. It's just amazing what happens in our brains. So there's one right there. And it's like, I can't, I don't have the money right now. I can't. Anything that's like that, switch it around. Take a moment and go, well, how can I do this? If it's first off that important to you, if you feel it's valuable to you and it's going to help get you to where you want to go and you really want it, how can I? Let me figure it out. How can I figure this out? You don't have to figure it out on your own. Maybe you call a friend. Maybe you DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany and go, hey, I have I've had people do this before where they have 3 different jobs and they have kids and they're like, I don't have any time left in the day, and I really want to, join the posse, or I really want to start my business. How can I do this? And I have them give me their whole schedule. You know what? We make sure we find time. And sometimes that involves asking for help. So we have to get creative. Just like everyone would get creative to go jog that mile and a half to get that $500 in cash. It's just amazing, isn't it? All right. So another example is the why me's. Okay. And listen, I can fall into a good pity party. I just don't stay there. We're all entitled to a good pity party. But staying there's a choice. So why me? Why was I raised poor? Why was I abused? I mean, good Lord, for those of you who know my story, my why me's, if we really want to compete the why me's, my why me's trump most people's why me's based upon my abusive childhood and the shit I've gone through. I could sit here and go, oh, why me? What about people who have disabilities that are missing their arms and their legs? It's why me? Why me? I can't do this. You stay in that zone of why me. You're not going to come up with any creativity. So how about why not me? Right? Why not me? So no one in your entire family ever, went past high school. Okay, so what? Why not me? You might not be the brightest bulb. P.S. I'm sharp and I'm savvy and I'm quick, but I'm not the most book smart person, and I'm far from being Miss Technology over here. So it's but why not me? When I started ProjectME with Tiffany a little over a year ago, I had a lot of thoughts that came up because I was, I weighed the most that I ever weighed because of a condition I have. I was using that as an excuse. I was like, God, these other people, they look like they're Barbie dolls, and, they've been doing it longer than me. And maybe I need to have even though, I was successful, it was I wasn't, I didn't have abs or whatever bullshit I was telling myself. And thankfully, I had people in my life who helped me. Sometimes we need help getting there, which is, that's necessary. There's a lot of us on the planet. That's what we're meant for, is to help one another. But, I was why me? Why do I have to have this health condition? Why couldn't I have been why can't I be one of those people who's just naturally really lean or whatever? What? Shut up. It's why can't I go for it? Imagine if Oprah said, why me? And we know her childhood story. What if she said that? Why me? And she didn't say, why not me? Right? You got to think like that. All right, here's another one. The not ready, okay? And not being ready shows up a lot in time. So you guys have your calls to have people, do coaching with you or join a mastermind or a retreat or, higher level program or something like that. Or even a course you have going on. And the people will go, I'm not ready, or I'm not ready to start my business. I got that in the DMs earlier today with someone who, was really interested in joining my membership program. And then they reverted back to saying, well, they're really not ready. They don't have their website. And when someone says they're not ready, first off, that's just fear. And that's a poverty limiting mindset. Well, it makes no sense. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my business line's ringing. I kind of feel like I should pick it up on the air and see who it is, but I can't see who it is from here. And depending on who it is, it could be very entertaining, but I'm going to keep going. Anyway. So when someone says they're not ready, it's really, that's a form of fear in disguise, but a lot of times it'll show up as time. I don't have the time right now. And then there's a long laundry list of things that come up. Their health, their kids, their family, their Auntie Sue, They just got married. I mean, I could go on and on of all the things that people have said to me throughout the years that involve, time and giving a laundry list. And that's also fear. That's just a limiting belief. A wealth mindset, wealth thinking would be, what can help me be ready? What can I do to get ready? What do I need to be ready? Right? And what the hell is ready anyway, by the way? Like, all of you moms out there, were any of you like ready? I mean, maybe some of you are ready to have kids, but like, I mean, no one's really ready. I mean, it's not like, okay, when I even started my first company, I knew I was done. Like, I tapped out corporate America. It was time. But was I really ready? I was freaking terrified, but I did it anyway. Was I ready to start ProjectME? I had this idea, by the way, for 10 years, you guys, 10 freaking years. But was I really ready to start ProjectME? No. I mean, if I really think of it, it's not like I was ready. I was actually not in the best health. I wasn't really ready, but I knew if not now, then when. So that is a beautiful wealth language to tell you, to ask yourself. If not now, when? When you start going down the I don't have time, I'm not ready, not right now. Okay, well, if not now, when? When? Because what, miraculously next month you're going to have less on your plate? I hear a lot of people this time of year go, oh, I need to wait until September to when my kids are back in school. In certain cases, right, that makes sense. But tell me this, what's going to happen once you start or you're building your business or you're taking it to the next level? And now we're in summer of next year of 2020. And now what you're going to put your business on hold until they're back in school in September? It doesn't even make sense, but they believe it to be true. Therefore it is, right? I know it's not. And truly, unless someone's paying me to coach them, it's not my job or my business to basically, tell them you're bullshitting yourself. That's like a little harsh. But what I do is I ask people questions, and I do the same work with myself. If not now, when? When? It's going to, all of a sudden, it's going to be right in a year from now. You could be dead before then. I'm not trying to be like, really morbid here, but it's the damn truth. Like, if now, when? Freaking do it anyway. So that's the difference. With the poverty mindset, there is a lot of focus on why me. There's a lot of comparison-itis, looking at other people. Because you have these beliefs, your brain is going to seek evidence. So then you'll look at people online. Maybe you'll look at me and you go, oh my God, well, she went to college. I didn't go to college. Well, she's in the 7-figure area. No one's going to listen to me because I don't make that kind of money. Or she has thousands of followers and I have 300. So, there's no way I can start. Or I'm only, 23 years old. So who's going to listen to a 23-year-old when there's people who are 40, 50 years old? Tony Robbins is 65 years old talking about, things that I really am passionate and I really want to teach. Who's going to listen to little old me? Well, I don't know. Perhaps other 23-year-olds. There's a lot of them in the world. You know what I'm saying? So then you flip it and go, well, why wouldn't someone listen to me? Like, you have to just flip that around. When you're staying in that victim-y mindset, it becomes this cycle. You wear that groove, like I said, that hiking path, and then all the evidence you see around you will be to validate that belief system. So when you switch over to the wealth mindset, like, so how can I make this happen? How can I figure it out? Why not me? If not now, when? Do it anyway. What can help me get to ready? Like, what is ready anyway? Is ready a thing? I don't even get it. That needs to be its own episode where I go off on. But it's like, what is ready anyway? I'm not ready for most of the shit that happens in my life. I just go for it. It's like, and I'm really uncomfortable most of the time, by the way. It's like, what are you going to do? So when you start reframing some things, especially after listening to this, and that's another good thing. Listen to wealth conscious people who use that language. Okay. So of course, shameless plug, listen to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast. Listen to my IG stories, my IG lives, me and Facebook at Project Me with Tiffany. Listen to people who are high vibe that you like, that are high vibe and have wealth conscious language, people who are in the manifestation space, who have been practicing it a while. Those are great people to follow. Listening to people, like Tony Robbins, who speak that language that will help you wear that new pathway, that new hiking trail. It'll help you create that faster because you're constantly feeding your mind with it. So podcasts are great. Books are great. If you guys want book recommendations on this, just DM me at Project Me with Tiffany, and I'll give you some of my favorites. So just keep feeding your mind with it. You have to feed yourself too, but then use other things to feed your mind with it. And pretty soon you'll have your own path and you'll start seeing things completely differently because, like I said, what you believe you see. So then you'll see things differently. You're going to think differently, create different experiences for yourself, which all then transition into having more freaking cash in your bank and more success. If you guys love this episode, take a quick screenshot right now and share it. Tag me at Project Me with Tiffany. Share the love of the show. Let people know to listen to the episode. I would super appreciate it. And as always, wishing you great health, wealth, and worth. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.